one thing about the Peter Pan bus is that it's really expensive, and it takes a long time. You know, you have waiting time, you have time on the bus getting ready, and it just makes more sense to have a car. But at the same time, having a car, adds to the pollution.
Well, here's an example. I use Amtrak all the time, and I like Amtrak, even though they're way overpriced. But I think about Amtrak. Every time I come into Springfield from New York, there's the option to go to Amherst, but it is so inefficient that sometimes it can take up to 2 hours just to get from Springfield to Amherst. So I always get picked up in Springfield, which illustrates how the inefficiency and cost of public transportation drives us to spend more and more money on cars, that dying industry that could be milked for a few more American dollars. So we've basically paid for two different kinds of transportation to get from A to B.
Okay, I think about public transportation as in the big picture as another victim of the neglect, the greed and the addiction to cheap oil that stems from the 40s and 50s, especially after World War II, and how basically our government has sold out to private interest the interests of the public that they're supposed to serve. And what we are left with are, like in public transportation, the wreckage of negligence and basically selling out. Now, there's no quick fix, but it's still the only way to go.
I don't know. All I can say about Japan is that it works better. I don't know how it works better because I don't study Japan.
Yeah, that's one of the main problems, actually, is that there are pockets of good public transportation, for example, the valley or whatever, but there's no unified system. That'd be like the number one issue.
Yeah.
So I think the issue about everybody owning a car is really tied up with middle-class cultural identity in the Industrial Revolution. I remember working someplace and somebody said, with the assumption that everybody came from a middle-class background, they said, okay, we're doing this study of your position in the family car. Did you sit in the front between your two parents? Did you sit in the back? How did you sit in the family car? And I thought it was interesting because I said, I took the bus. And not everybody grew up like taking the bus. It's associated with a lower socioeconomic status. To me, the increase in danger really on the highways is part of the issue. I would like to see, my wish is, for reliable transportation that's safe. I remember organizing buses to take people I work with to a conference. Rather than everybody driving themselves to the conference an hour and a half away, we got a van from the school. And it was a wonderful way for people to get to know each other, cross-disciplinary, and buses and public transportation that was affordable and safe would also raise the social capital of communities. And in this day and age, we really need to depend on one another in other ways. So having community on buses and not having it just relegated to necessity or, oh, my car doesn't work, so I have to take the bus. Rather, it would be preferred